Salute to all the Patreon members. Want to thank you guys for your support. It really means a lot to me. All the new viewers, all the subscribers, thank you for your support. Please hit the like button if you haven't done so already. I couldn't find a link for the Patreon because I'm recording this from my iPad. So I've never logged on to Patreon from this iPad. I'll have to put up the link for the Patreon page after this live ends. But if you want to look for it, go back like 2 or 3 live streams and you'll see the link for the Patreon if you want to join. But other than that, I'll post up the link for the Patreon after I'm done with this live. Anyways, I'm still on the road. I don't have my computer with me. So this is going to be one of those 2-week ventures while I'm away from home. I need to start bringing my computer with me from now on. So yeah, no more not being able to show articles, pictures, videos from here on out. I just got to bring it with me. But if you want to check out the article that I'm talking about, the link is in the description box below. It's in the show notes. So click the link and you can follow along with this same article as well. So, American man knocked out in Bangla road fight. Now, there's a video. I'm assuming this guy he looked black. I could be wrong. He kind of has a silky ponytail, so he might be Hispanic. But I'm not sure. For now, I think he's somebody black, but I want to give my 2 cents at the end of this. Phuket tourist police officers rushed to assist an American man who lost consciousness on Bangla Road after he got into a fight with another foreigner last night. This was November 16th. This happened in Phuket. The Phuket Times Facebook page reposted a video of the physical fight altercation between 2 foreigner men. The video showed 2 foreign men, one wearing a white shirt and the other an orange shirt. So the guy wearing a white shirt, either he's white or a white Hispanic, the tall guy that knocked him out. The guy who's on the ground is a short, either black or Latino guy. I can't really tell. They don't get the names or the identity. Okay. They were exchanging punches. The man in white delivered a knockout blow, leaving the man in orange lying unconscious on the ground. The winning fighter walked away from the scene, leaving witnesses and Phuket tourist police officers to provide first aid to the injured man. The official Facebook page of the tourist police reported that the foreigner sustained a wound near his left eyebrow. That's probably the wound that he got not from the punch, but from him actually going unconscious and then slamming his face into the ground. He got transported to the hospital. The man in the orange shirt was later identified as an American national, while the identity of the foreign national remains unknown. Reports have not indicated whether the injured party has filed a complaint. Okay, so why am I talking about this? Why am I doing a video talking about somebody getting knocked out? If you guys don't know, I've either been living or traveling abroad for the last going on 17 years. I lived in Thailand for 5 years. I've seen many people get knocked out on the strip in Thailand. My advice to everybody who gets into an altercation, if somebody is yelling and screaming at you, whether they're drunk or sober, sure, you can stand up for yourself and have certain things to say. But if they're not swinging on you, then walk away. Okay, it doesn't make you a punk. It doesn't make you soft. It doesn't make you a bitch for walking away. I've had 2 friends years ago. One had to do 10 years. The other one had to do 11 years for manslaughter. Why? Because somebody got into an altercation with somebody. Somebody's yelling, calling them names or whatever. They weren't throwing any punches. They were just upset. And The two people that I knew, this didn't happen on the same night. The two separate incidents. They both threw the first punch, even though, when you look at cameras, the cameras, they don't pick up audio. They don't see anybody. They don't hear when somebody's antagonizing you. All right. They only see you punching somebody. And those two punches from both of my friends, those punches ended up unaliving the people that they got into it with. Okay. Because you could punch somebody, they hit their head the wrong way on the ground, on a curb. And, that's too much blunt force to the head at once. And it can unalive them. It could kill them. Right. And that's what happened. Like I said, one of my friends got 10 years. The other one got 11 years. The reason why the other person that I know got 11 years, because you know how people they'll punch somebody and then when they go to the ground, they don't know that they either knocked out or unconscious. So they might keep punching them or kicking them. That's what happened with the second friend, the second incident. That's why he got the extra year. But both of them didn't intend for them to unalive them. They just got into a fight. Didn't really take shit. Somebody talking shit to them. It's like, hey, look, I'm going to shut this guy up. But it ended up costing two other people's lives. And then their lives were thrown away as well, going to jail because of that. But here's the thing, though. This is why I tell people, when you go to some of these countries, just like Wendell Brown, you could look up Wendell Brown, the football player who became a coach over in China. He became a football coach in China. I'm assuming he was making good money. Goes out to the bar with some of his colleagues. Some random Chinese guys wanted to take pictures with him, videos, and hang out with him. He's like, hey, no, thank you. I'm with my friends. Go away. They were mad that he didn't want to hang out with them. So they went across the room. I think they started throwing bottles at him or whatever. So then he got up and, confronted them and put hands on them. That cost him 4 years of his life in a Chinese prison. All right. So when you go someplace and somebody is antagonizing you, somebody's taunting you, somebody's yelling and screaming, right? Your first instinct, let me shut this guy up. Even in America, let me shut this guy up, right? And you don't know how the fight is going to go, right? They might have a gun. They might be a sore loser. They got a gun. You lose, right? You might beat their ass. The camera sees that you threw the first punch. You lose, all right? Defend yourself when your life is in danger. In Asia, unfortunately, in other countries as well, there's self-defense laws. It doesn't protect foreigners. Now, foreigners are protected in America when they defend themselves, but it's not the other way around in other countries. When it's foreigner on foreigner, they'll let it go. Now, if you check out the article, the guy in the white shirt, had he knocked out somebody that was Thai, he would be sitting in jail, in a Thai jail. Since it's another foreigner, they don't care. If you want to file a complaint, we could file a complaint. They would never be able to find out who that guy was unless they really sat down and used the cameras, the street cameras to track every which way this guy was going and find out where he was staying at. Otherwise, they don't really care. I'm assuming the American, because the other guy, we don't know what his nationality was. I'm assuming the American probably didn't want to file charges because he's probably like, hey, man, I started that shit. I was drunk, mouthing off, and, shit happened. Whatever, let it go. He doesn't want to get embarrassed twice. All right? Because he probably started that shit. And that's another thing I want to tell you guys. is, especially if you're tall like me, I'm 6'3". The biggest pest when it comes to people in life that you're gonna deal with, and I hate to say this, are short, insecure males. They are the biggest pests you ever want to deal with. I've never made fun of anybody's height. I you know, whatever y'all call it, jonesing, playing at dozens, signifying, clowning, uh insulting, right? Where I'm from, we call it cutting. San Antonio, we call it cutting. When you're cutting on each other, I even when I'm jonesing on somebody, I never had to jones on somebody's height. I never had to cut on somebody's height because I'm just too witty and clever to get on you about anything else. Pause. Right? I'm just that witty. I don't have to talk about your height at all. But I've never made fun of anybody because of their height. But the thing about it is when you look at somebody, you might see somebody who's 5'4", 5'5" as just another man, and you're trying to have a conversation with them. Sometimes people look at you like they're insecure, that when they speak to you, they got to talk up to somebody, especially talk up to a black person. And you're having a conversation, everything's going fine, but somebody might think like, hey, you know, I want to show this person that I'm not scared of them. And the thing is what is there to be scared of? We're just having a conversation. It's not even a hostile conversation. Sometimes they'll bring in hostility into a situation that doesn't call for it, but they just do that shit because they're insecure about their own height, and you're tall, and it's like, well, I'm not gonna. Hey, you know what? They probably have met and dealt with others who were tall as well, who probably made fun of them because of their height, or they physically violated them because of, you know, I'm bigger, you're shorter, right? I never looked at nobody as that. Short people, you know, they do all this training because in their minds it's like, hey, you know, I train to chop down bigger guys. Okay. Most people aren't going around looking for some fight. All right. They're not going around looking for a fight. You're looking for the fight because you're insecure about your height. Short people, in their minds, when they step to somebody tall, who's not even thinking about fighting you or get into some altercation or whatever, right? When they step to somebody tall, in their mind, it's a win-win situation. Because when you look at this article, you look at the height difference, the short guy, if the short guy that got knocked out, most people, and even this goes on in a short guy's mind, most people are going to say, okay, he got knocked out, but man, he stood his ground. He stood up to him. He got heart. You see what I'm saying? Whereas the tall guy, he don't really get any cool points. Okay, yeah, you knocked him out, but you bigger than him. I'm not even looking for any cool points. I'm trying to defend myself. This motherfucker miles him off, and you just get tired of that shit. Now, luckily, this man ended up still alive, because had this guy never woke up, they would definitely find out who this guy in white is. So that's why I say, you know, this guy in white, he could have landed in a jail cell if he never woken up. A lot of people can tell you at least somebody that they know or somebody they heard that has knocked somebody out and they never woke up. All right. So my advice to somebody like him is, man, if somebody's talking shit, just walk away. If they touch you, then you can proceed to do what it is that you need to do to defend yourself, whether they wake up or not, because you're defending yourself. Now somebody's talking shit, you're like, okay, yeah, all right, let's duel then. You could be charged for that. All right. Now the flip side of that is if you a tall guy and you knock somebody out that's little, it's kind of like, all right, yeah, you knocked him out. He was smaller than you, so yeah, but you did knock him out. All right. It's always a but or an asterisk next to you knocking somebody out that's smaller or shorter. Now, if you get knocked out, there is no asterisk, there is no but. You got your ass whooped, and you much bigger than this person. So it looks bad. Like you don't really get, I don't want to say cool points or credit, but you don't really get that level of recognition for knocking people out that's smaller than you like that. You get negative recognition from getting your ass slept, especially if they're shorter than you. So to short guys, it's almost like a win-win situation. Whether I get knocked out or not, everybody's going to sympathize with me. Everybody's either going to say I got heart or I'm just a badass. Either way, I'm going to win in this situation. I've ran into some of these people that were. I remember one time, I was in Thailand. There was a brother from Alabama who went to the same university I went to. All right. I guess we was in the library when we first met. He just came over, introduced himself, said what's up. So whenever we saw each other, we would speak on campus. But he had a little Napoleon complex himself. I had to tell him to chill out and relax a couple of times. Right? He was much older. He was like, at the time, he was like 45. And when he told me his age, I was like, damn, I didn't even know you was 45. I thought you was younger than that. And he said, yeah, I probably look younger because I'm really, really short. I'm like, no, that's not that's not it. Right? You just look younger for your age, right? But this is the thing that goes on in a lot of short people's minds. It's like, well, because I'm short, that's why I look younger. No, I mean, I lived in Asia for 8 years. There's a lot of short, old-looking people. Just because you're short don't mean that makes you look younger. I don't know where the correlation was with that, but him saying that, I'm like, okay, the Napoleon complex, comments like that. Yes, he's insecure about his height. All right. There was another guy on campus. I don't know where he was from, but he was a white dude. He was a veteran. And he was one of these guys where he just wanted to leave America. And I don't know. I guess he felt the shit that he went through with people getting bullied or whatever in his past, it was because he was short. And then his lack of success with women was because he was short. And I'm like, all right, he's short, but he's not that short. He's probably like 5'5", but you out here in Thailand. There's plenty of women under 5 feet out here. Like, you at a decent height for women in Thailand. Like, what are you ranting on about? There are a lot of guys that are insecure about their height and they take their frustration out on tall men. And if you smart, it's just like, hey man, leave these people alone, because if you hurt them, number one, either they're going to tell, and thankfully this guy right here, he didn't tell. Most of the time, these guys tell. Either they tell or, if you hit them too hard, they don't wake up. And now you're fucked. And it's like, I'm not looking down. I'm making eye contact with you, but yeah, because you're shorter, it might look like I'm looking down on you, but I'm not looking down at you. If that's as a man, if that makes sense. I don't do that to people. Right? I respect everybody for who they are. I don't go around looking for confrontation. A lot of short guys, they go around looking for confrontation, especially with taller men. And it's like, hey, man, all right, whatever. God bless. Because if I was on that type of time, you catch a jail sentence or a civil suit because over something that was probably deserved, some shit that happened to somebody, and I'm not making fun of short people. I'm just saying, people in Napoleon complex, you catch a charge off of something that was probably deserved their own way. But in the end, you're the bad guy. You're the violent one. Now your life is ruined. Job opportunities are gone. Right? Anger management classes, probation, sitting in a cell. Your whole life, the trajectory of your life will change because somebody with Napoleon complex was antagonizing you and you took the bait. These people don't take the bait. This guy is lucky he didn't unalive him. Because they said he had an injury above his eyebrow. That's from his head slamming on the ground. I'm telling you, like, there's another guy I knew. I could say his name right now. And if I would, I still know his first and his last name. I used to work with him. He's a bodybuilder, a professional. Well, I think he's went pro because there's certain shows that he's done that has gotten notoriety. And as a matter of fact, I've watched certain content creators. There was one content creator who has like over 1 million subscribers who's in the fitness, and he did a show. And the dude I used to work with was at that show. I'm like, what's his name? Right? This guy I worked with for about a year. He was in the bodybuilding. He had a trainer and everything. This guy had a Napoleon complex. He was from Kansas City, Missouri. And he was one of them know-it-alls, talking shit, right? Arguing with people, especially people taller than him. But I'm not going to say what his race was, but he wasn't white. He wasn't white. He wasn't black. I'll just say that. And the white guys at the job had enough of it. It was like, man, fuck this. So every time they walked past him, they called him a word that I can't repeat on YouTube because that word was acceptable to use back in the day. You know the word starts with an F. All right. So every time, it was like 3 guys, every time they walked past him in the hallway or at work, they would call him this name. They whisper it in his ear. And he wouldn't do anything. And I remember, like, because at the job, we had to share dorms, right? And he was talking to me about this because his bed was on the other side of the room. Mine was on the other side of the room. We're talking. And he was like, man, I don't like him because every time we walk past the hallway, he calls me this. And I'm like, damn, he don't seem like that the kind of person to do that because I'm cool as hell with him. Yeah, and then like his other friend, he be doing the same shit. I'm like, man, I just don't see both of them doing that. I'm cool with both of them. And he started crying. He was like, man, why does everybody fuck with me? And I'm like, I'm like, are you crying? And he just went to sleep and started crying. I was like, man, the fuck is wrong with this guy? I'm like, you walking around acting tough. He threatened to beat up like 2 guys that were, I'll just say they had a different sexual preference. It seemed like they had a different sexual preference. So I'm like, I don't know what's up with that. Why would you? What's up with that? You talk shit to people, right? You have a little Napoleon complex. You act like a know-it-all. Nobody, a lot of people don't like you. Now they calling you the F-bomb in the hallway every single time they walk past you, right? So then what did he do? He told on those guys. And these guys that he told on, they weren't that much taller than him. They were all the same height. As a matter of fact, the other guys that he told on, they were very scrawny. And they were very skinny. I'm like, damn, you could probably take them. Mind you, this guy that I'm talking about, he's like 5'4". And he told on them. So management called him into the office, and I remember I was using the restroom. So I'm like, okay, they in the hallway too. I'm talking to them like, yeah, I got to go in this office or whatever. I'm like, damn, what happened? He goes, I'll tell you later. The door opens, and that guy who, you know, with the Napoleon complex, he in there crying in the office. I'm like, here you are, Napoleon complex, short man's complex, challenging a lot of people here, and you cry. And this is the second time I've caught you crying. All right. It's like, man, stop acting tough. So this is why I say I don't have nothing against anybody's height, but wherever you go, right? I'm not saying they're the only ones that, you know, they're a challenge in life. But you can guarantee when you're around somebody that's insecure and short, they're going to be a problem. Even if they act like they're your friend, they're going to be a problem, right? I remember one person, I don't even want to, I might have to say this on a Patreon page. I might have to share this story on the Patreon page. I still remember this guy's first and last name. And like I said, most of the time, if it's not at a club and they got that courage juice in them, it's going to be somebody that you work with or work adjacent, right? There was another guy I was working with, cokehead, and he's a confirmed cokehead. Cokehead. He would talk about coke binging stories with us a lot. He was on steroids. He was a cokehead. And I remember this dude pissed me off so much. I was really about to throw it away, right? So I stepped to him, but I was going to take it further than that, not just fighting, if you know what I mean, because he pissed me off that much. But instead, I just really stepped to him one time, and yeah, he was at a higher position, but I didn't give a fuck. I just put it this way: I was really, 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 really trying to hurt this person. All right. And it was a little short, cokehead, steroid guy, you know, who had a short man's complex. All right. So, like I said, you don't really, in the grand scheme of things, you don't get positive recognition for sticking it to a shorter man. They're gonna get the recognition. Oh damn, he got heart, and you got your ass knocked out, but you got heart. The fuck? Yeah, you knocked him out, but look how big you are. Like, what the fuck? Right? So they know that, and that's how they try to get away. And they'll start shit, and sometimes they'll tell. And when people like them shouldn't even be in social circles, you shouldn't be at a job, or you shouldn't be in, professional places. They keep them around. They keep these people around because it's like, you're the bigger guy, right? So, Suta Hobbs. So that's why I'm talking about this article right here. When you go out to different countries, it doesn't matter if somebody starts shit with you if they're of that nationality. So even in Canada, sometimes like really the self-defense laws is piss poor in Canada, right? They don't protect you for defending yourself in Canada. They'll get you hemmed up and lock you up for defending yourself. So, for example, in Canada, if somebody breaks into your home, and let's say they break through the back door, right? But they cut themselves on the glass through that back door or through the window when they break in, right? And then they come in, and let's say you're not home, they can still sue you. They can still sue you because they got cut breaking into your home. That's a real thing. If they break in their home, they break in your home and they cut themselves, and let's say you beat them down with a baseball bat, because you're not supposed to have a gun in Canada. You beat them down with a baseball bat, and you hold them there till the cops get there, and then you get arrested. They could sue you because of the injuries you caused towards him, and they'll win. Yes, they'll get charged for burglary, but they'll win against the violence you committed on them. So it's almost like in Canada, you're supposed to just let people do whatever to your vehicle, to your home, and you're just supposed to wait for the cops to show up. And they take forever and a day to show up because they're overpaid and they underperform and they're overpaid in Canada. These are six-figure earning cops in Canada. They're almost too smart, but they're underpaid. All right. You go to Latin America, Colombia, you beat somebody down, they might be connected to somebody that you don't even know. And that could cost you your life. In Asia, you beat somebody down, even if they mouthing off to you, you are getting fucked. It doesn't matter. They could throw something at you. They could charge you with a knife. They could punch you. If you defend yourself in Asia, you are getting fucked. You are going to jail. I've seen it. You, like, the way it's set up, it's like you have to be a bitch and run away. All right? You cannot show any sign of violence towards anybody in these countries. Now, if it's against another foreigner, then they're like, okay, whatever, right? But in this case right here, luckily, this person didn't die. Because had he died, they would have arrested that guy in Thailand because you killed somebody. I didn't mean to kill nobody. We just got into a fight. It wasn't my intention. It doesn't matter. Look what happened. Unconscious, slammed his face on the ground. I've seen several people lose their life that way. All right. So when you travel and you meet other foreigners, you're going to run into some strange characters, right? That's why I tell people, man, it's best to, ride by yourself, travel by yourself. I hate to be that way. I hate to be that way, to tell you not to meet, mingle, connect with other foreigners when you travel. But you are going to run into this plenty of times overseas. I know guys where they just say, hey, you know what? I'm just sticking with these women. You try to connect with other brothers, you run into this right here. You try to connect with, people who are American or British or whatever, South African, Australian, and they could be black or not, doesn't matter. They on this type of time right here, and they're going to get you caught up. And it's like, what did I gain trying to speak to this person? They don't want to build. They don't want to start a business, right? We just hanging out. And then when you try to hang out with certain people, They don't respect your time. They don't show up on time. And in many cases, they don't show up at all. They're very fake. So you get caught up trying to fight somebody who's not even worth it, right? Because this person, I'm pretty sure the little person who got his ass knocked out in this article, he probably started it. That's why he didn't file charges. That's why he didn't file no complaint. Because he know, man, I'm the one talking shit drunk on the strip. Right? Somebody started shit with you. They not worth it. They ain't worth a damn. They teaching English just like you. You're going to get your ass locked up because of your ego over somebody who ain't worth shit. And life is trying to teach you, man, you much better than teaching over here. You much better than this person over here. Many cases, man, when somebody has that much hostility and energy towards you, you don't know them, life is trying to tell you, hey, man, get the fuck from out of here, because there's another plan for you. And that plan is going to be more lucrative, and there's much better people on the other side than to be dealing with them, right? But if you give into temptation to people who don't fucking matter, who hate themselves, very insecure, you're going to lose your life. You're going to throw your life away over somebody who don't even give a fuck about themselves. That's what life is really trying to tell you. That little guy right there, man, it's like, I know they're just visiting, but let's say it's two people who are teaching English, right? Y'all making $1,000 a month. See, somebody like him, he's stuck there. He has to be there. He can't get bitches in his own country. You can. You much bigger. You much taller. You're probably much smarter with way more experience than this person. He's stuck here. So if he feels like this is his territory, don't feel like, hey, man, this man ran me out. No. That's life trying to tell you, hey, man, there's a bag waiting on me somewhere. And it's not, what am I doing here? Let the little people have this bullshit over here, because it really ain't shit at the end of the day. Do y'all know, like, man, I could go on and on and on and tell you about the amount of little guys that I know that I've seen get their ass knocked out for having little man complex. I've seen it so many times. And when you think about where they got their ass knocked out, it was in a place where it wasn't shit. There's no bad bitches there. It wasn't shit. What am I doing here wasting my time anyway? Like I said, don't give your energy to people who are calling you names. Just walk away. If they call you a bitch, cool. But if they follow you and put your hands on you, see, I got something for everybody who think they could do that, right? When you young, you got something to prove because you don't really have nothing going on. You a minor in high school and all you got is your reputation. And that's when the bullshit starts. That's when the gangs and the toughness and, you know, the bravado, that's when it all starts. Because by the time you reach 18, you done probably caught so many cases to where you can't do nothing with your life besides keep doing the same shit you was doing when you were a minor in high school. Thinking that you tough. And now when you're an adult, you're still a kid because you're not allowed to do what it is that you need to do as an adult because you done fucked up so much as a minor thinking that you tough. Now you can't really go out there and accomplish goals like you want to. So you either go back to jail or you really have to become clever and think about, you know, have that entrepreneurship mindset. You have no choice. This is all you got. The wrong friends can get you caught in crossfire. You're right. Yeah, exactly. And Russian spy, for those that don't know, he's going into the army really soon. This is all he's going to run into. I'm telling you, you're going to run into a bunch of guys just like who I'm talking about in this article right here. From the time you get into boot camp to tech school to your first base duty station, you're going to run into this shit over and over and over and over again. That's going to knock you off your purpose. And if you give into it, you're going to lose. Right? I've seen it many, many times. But these little short motherfuckers, like I said, I don't have anything against short people. I have something against short, insecure, Napoleon complex people. That's who I have something against. They will push you to hurting them. And then who's it going to fall on? It's going to fall on you. So when you travel and go overseas, man, you know, or in Russian spy's case, I don't know where he's going to get stationed at. All right. I don't know where you're going to get stationed at. But if town is that way, and that way is approximately 45 miles away, go by yourself. Right? Especially if there's women around. Go by yourself. You don't know people. You might say, hey, man, you had a couple conversations. Everything is cool. Soon as women come around, you'll see, okay, damn, this motherfucker act totally different when women's around. This motherfucker act totally different when alcohol is in their system. I remember one time, man, like me and my homie, we used to, we used to go into town and get bitches. But then one time he became cool with somebody from a different department and started bringing this little dude around. And this little dude, sometimes he think he tough and talking loud or whatever. I'm like, dude, who the fuck you talking to? Who the fuck? I'm like, hey, man, don't bring him again. Because I see through all that shit. Because some of these guys, they talk loud, they talk tough. I'm like, well, do something then. They don't do anything. All right, then. So you not see, and the dude that he brought around was a little Puerto Rican guy. And when you look on his page, he didn't grow up around black people. He really grew up only around white people. Right? So the thing is, man, it's like you intimidated by tall brothers who's not even looking at you like that, but you trying to tell me, you trying to show me that you're not intimidated. You are intimidated, right? Because nobody is fucking with you like that. But trust and believe, if you touch me, I will break your jaw. So, and I'm like, you in my car, bitch, I'll have you walking back. I'll have you walking back to where you live at. I'm like, I don't all that yelling, talking loud over nothing. I'm like, that don't mean nothing to me. I could show you better than I could tell you. And he calmed his, like he got quiet because I'm like, look here, man. Little boy, I will hurt you. For real. And I'm like, hey, man. And I told him, I said, hey, you cool? Don't bring this little motherfucker with me no more. I'm not going to say what I said. Because I'm like, he going to get his ass, and I'm not going to say the rest. So, but some of these little insecure, they will, and that was like the one and only time that we hung out, right? That was only one and only time he brought him around. Then after that, I'm like, hey, all right, cool. Because it has something, the reason why I didn't do anything to him, because we all work in the same place. You see what I'm saying? You do something to him, he show up in stitches or he show up hurt, then he want to tell. But you talking like you want to do something, and when I give you the opportunity to do something, you're not doing anything. So now it looks like you're throwing the first punch. You're the aggressor. Now you throw the first punch, the ball's in their court. They could tell, or if they become really hurt where they're unalive, either way, you're going to jail. So once I saw my two, and this was at a young age, this was when I was 17, 18 years old. When I saw them two go away like that over a punch, I said, hey man, I'm not throwing first punches no more. I'm not doing that shit no more. All right, I'm a bitch. All right, well, fuck you. God bless. All right, take care. Whatever. All right, emotional, mad. All right, fuck you. God bless. Bye. Right? Now, if you touch me, then that's when you're gonna see some sparks. Because now you put my life in danger. And that's not no threat, anything like that. I'm just saying, like, keep your hands to yourself. So in this situation, let that little dude talk and keep walking. See, now locals, they think they could do anything to foreigners. I've seen Thai men beat up white women on the strip in Pattaya. I've seen that. And nothing happened to that Thai man. So nothing happened to him. So that's what I'm saying, like, somebody gets mad, even if they put their hands on you first in another country, you defend yourself. If they're able to track you down and find out who you are, you're going to have to pay for it. There was a case, I mean, there's plenty of cases like that in China, but there's one case in particular. There was a guy, he was African. He graduated from college. He was getting his bachelor's or master's degree. And one of his classmates, he started dating another girl that went to that university. She was cute. He like a big old Green Mile African dude, right? And so, like I mentioned from before, a lot of people, including Chinese people, they don't like it especially when somebody black is dating their own women, especially in China, because there's 40 million more men than women. So they feel like, hey, man, you're supposed to be with another Chinese man. And if you're going to get with anybody, at least let it be a white man, but you're going to get with an African? Nah. So like a mob of men and women, it was a group of men and women came down with weapons one night to run up on, they ran up on them with weapons to beat both of them up. And so, the guy was defending his girl in her honor, right? And, he stuck a few of them. One guy, he punched him in the mouth, knocked his front teeth out. And, he took the brunt of most of the beating so that he could tell his girl, hey, just, get away, go to safety. Just get away. I'll fight them off. And once you're safe, I'll run away. But he ended up sticking a few of them. And I don't know exactly how the story went as far as him getting beaten down, but they ended up tracking him down, arresting him, taking his passport, taking his degree. Said, okay, yeah, you paid to go to school, you got your degree, but it don't count because you violent. And the damages that you did to this guy over here, when you knocked his teeth out, you got to pay for his medical bills. And the bills was something crazy. Like he basically had to pay for his disability for the rest of his life. You got to get my teeth fixed, and then you got to pay for my disability for the rest of my life because this was very traumatizing. And he was like, man, what the fuck? Y'all did this to me. Y'all attacked me because I'm dating somebody Chinese. They didn't care about all that. So even when you're in the right to defend yourself, you can still get locked up in some of these places. This is what I'm trying to tell you. All right. I don't really get that feeling in South America. I've never gotten that feeling in Canada. But in Asia, you really got to watch out for jealousy. And that's mainly in places like China. And certain places, certain places wherever you go, like Thailand, you know what I'm saying? It depends. Certain zones, they don't care how fine the woman is. And if the man is black, it's okay, she's a hoe, she's a working girl. But if you like at Chulalongkorn University and you with the most prettiest girl who comes from an affluent family at Chulalongkorn University, which is the number one prestigious university in Thailand, somebody's going to say something to her and to you, right? One of my ex-girlfriends, I've shown you like her backside before. Y'all was talking about like, damn, that's you? Like, yeah, right? Me and her used to walk around, like we dated for years. Me and her used to walk around and people used to say shit to her in Thai. Why black? Why black? What? I'm not good enough for you? Why black? Right? Because she was that fine. So it's not just China's the worst, but wherever you go, if you kind of like in an upscale area, if you're not in Pattaya, you're not in Phuket, you're not in a red light district, you kind of like in an upscale area during the day, with the finest woman comes from an affluent neighborhood, people are going to be pissed off about that, and they just might attack you, and they might attack her too over in Asia. You see this in Asia a lot. South America, not so much. In the Americas, not so much, right? Not to say it doesn't happen, but not so much. I don't know about Europe, definitely not in Africa. But besides you being a different nationality, right? But over in Asia, be careful. Whether it's a woman or somebody on the strip want to fight you, be careful. I knew another guy in Pattaya, some jealous African. I guess he went to the restroom. The girl he was talking to ended up talking to one of my partners at the club. He's from Louisiana. The African came back and saw that the girl was talking to him. So he gonna step to my homie. My homie he just started swinging off on him, sticking him in his face, knocked him out. And later on, he ended up waking up. I said, dude, I'm not saying you was in the right or the wrong. You got to be careful doing that shit, because if he didn't wake up, you would be in a Thai prison right now. So watch that shit. Anyways, I'm over and I'm out. How long? 54 minutes, damn. It's been a long live, but I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I'm over and I'm out. I'll see you guys Sunday night. I'm over and I'm out. Peace.